Davin is joining us via Skype, and there you are. We can see you now.
Hello, Anlor.
Hello, but I can't see you.
Hello.
No,
Oh,
you
well.
can't see us, but don't worry about
That's
it. You
okay.
can hear us. That's
but
all that
everybody
matters.
can see you, and you look beautiful.
Well, thank you.
And we were saying that before that you are the author of the book Being Seen, that you were diagnosed with autism at the age of 46, and that you like to start by telling people that you are on the spectrum, that you are originally from France, and that you practice the art of Zen, all of which are very interesting to us. You, of course, now live in the United States, and I was mentioning, I don't know if I was mentioning when you were here, Nancy, but at the start of the show, I was talking about the fact that because you weren't diagnosed until the age of 46, you got married and had a child and experienced motherhood as a person on the spectrum but not diagnosed. And we can't wait to talk about all of those things with you, but we're thrilled to have you here with us and thrilled that we're able to see you.
Anlor is autistic. She was diagnosed very late at the age of 46 after she had lived life and had a child. She is an immigrant from France. And during her childhood, France was in the grip of oppressive and now discredited theories about autism. She knew she had to flee France in order to survive. She said that being, the mother of a child as an autistic individual was absolutely overwhelming. She started a Zen practice. And all of this, and she was formally diagnosed in 2010, all of this is in her fascinating memoir, Being Seen. And Anlor, welcome back again. Sorry for the technical problems. Wonderful to have you with us. Tell us, why did you feel the need to write this memoir? What did you want to accomplish?
Well, thank you. And I felt I wanted to write this memoir, which, by the way, you described very well. Thank you. I can hear some knowledge of something. So I wrote the memoir because at the time when I started it, I felt I had so much to say, and I did not know how to say it. So I started to write it. That actually, practically, two then friends of mine told me how to do that. I mean, they did not tell me how to do that. They told me that I should do that indeed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You've got a story to tell.
And you,
Exactly.
can I say that, to me, the overwhelming theme of your life story and this book is courage. I can't imagine the courage it took, first of all, to leave your native France. Somehow intrinsically you knew you had to do that. What was that like for you to just pick up and leave your country and come to America because you knew you were not being understood and you knew you had to do that to survive? What was that experience like?
Okay. First, I want to tell you that I don't hear everything so very well. When there is a background noise, often I have little sensory problems, so I'm sorry about that. And then to answer your question about how was when I first came to the United States.
Yes. How difficult.
Being autistic.
Yeah. How difficult. Yeah. How difficult was that for you? How difficult was that for you?
It was like being on another planet.
Oh.
It felt like I did not. First, English is not my native language. So, and when I first arrived, I hardly understood anything. So, and everything was completely different, and it was a complete shock. And honestly, Nancy, at first I kind of felt like it was great. It was like I could be more myself for a little while there. I felt like I could be which has some truth in the big picture. However, that's not the end of it. That there was more freedom to accept different ways. So I felt like mine could, how do you say that in English? Could go by. My different ways could be better accepted in some ways.
Yes, you could be more integrated without being that you didn't stick out as much, because probably
Right.
people thought of you as just being French. They probably didn't. They probably thought some of the issues had to do with the language, right?
Exactly. That is so true. How often did that happen? That people thought anything that where I was odd, they attributed to me being French. Still nowadays, this happens.
Interesting. Anlor, I wanted to go back a little bit to your young upbringing. One of the things you talk about in the book is that tennis was like a culture in your family. That tennis was something that your whole family did, and that when your dad had you start playing tennis, that it was something that you could do for hours. You could go down and play in the tennis court and just bang the ball, and that made him happy. I don't know if you know, there's a new study that's come out that has shown that teaching kids table tennis helps build cognitive skills in kids who are on the autism spectrum. And when I saw that you talked about tennis and how you played tennis, I just wondered if you could talk a little bit about, because we have a lot of people who are watching who have teenagers, and I'm wondering what you got out of playing tennis.
Yeah, wow, that is great to hear. So what I got out of playing tennis, well, mostly, and in table tennis too, but not as pronounced, is you are alone on your side of the court or on the table. So you're the one who's in control of that half of the court. So that is great if you're autistic. I mean, at least for me, that really, it was wonderful to be left alone there on the court. And then another thing is, for me, repeating the same thing over and over, which is what I did when I practiced, and it's something that, as an autistic person, I like. That was great because I could do that without it being called something negative, like an obsession, or
Right.
Yeah.
on the opposite.
Right.
As we would say, it's a functional use of a stimulatory or repetitive behavior.
Yeah, very functional.
Yeah.
And then the other question that I had for you, the thing that I'm so fascinated about is, so here you were, a young woman in a foreign country dealing with a lot of sensory issues, and you become a mother. And how, I wondered if you could talk with us a little bit about what it was like, and if it was, I think motherhood is overwhelming for anybody, but I can't imagine with sensory issues what a huge trek that would be, and I'm fascinated to hear more about that.
Yes, that is another great question. Well, once my child was born, well, first there were the constant cries, or often. Actually, this is the first time in my life where I realized that I'd better wear earplugs. Which I still do nowadays. I could hear every single thing, even with my earplugs. And then, of course, there were the smells.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. And it was just picking up, I remember my son's father not understanding why I was so touchy about the noise. I mean, it just became so acute that I could not even stand hearing him listening to the TV. He had to start putting earphones on. And everything, having a child, for me, I mean, I love my child like everybody else. And but the sensory part was just too difficult, you know. And I was unable to basically be with my son for every single of his first 18 years.
Right.
I think
And Anlor, let's tell people where they can get the book. They can go to AutoZen, AUTIZEN.wordpress.com to order your book. Is that correct?
yeah, actually now I have a website too.
Okay, can you give us the...
Might be faster.
Yes, can you...
Go to my website, which is my name, anlordavin.com.
Okay, ANLORDAVIN.com. Okay, Anlor, let's talk quickly, because I think people are interested in knowing, how did you make such a comeback? You had hit bottom, you had left France, you had had your child, you were having such issues. How did you build your life back to go on to actually author this book and thriving?
Oh, well, that was a miracle. I mean, I'm still so grateful about that. I still can't grasp how lucky I became. But I would say there were many things that helped, many. But the bottom line underneath everything is my Zen practice, in my opinion. I mean, that's very difficult to explain how so, but it's like it brings the wheel of my life back on its tracks.
Mm-hmm. So Zen meditation, which you learned in San Francisco?
Yes, that's when
And
I first arrived 17 years ago.
you started the practice,
Correct.
and it changed your life.
Yes, completely. I mean, it did not happen overnight at all. And the Zen practice, it's like everything, it's a discipline. I mean, you have to keep at it. You know,
How-
like going to a gym.
May I ask how often you practice a day? How many minutes a day?
Well, at first, it was not as much as I do nowadays, okay? But nowadays, I'm up to sitting zazen. And for me, it's the biggest part of it. And I am up to 2 hours a day in the morning, basically. Well, if I don't have time, I'll do it later, too. But I love the morning. The morning is when I'm less likely to be distracted by all the stuff I got to do, you know?
And how do you feel this is a practice that all of those with autism can benefit from? And if so, how might others access this? What would you suggest other people do?
Yes, definitely. I think that everybody, not just people on the autism spectrum, can tremendously benefit from this. I mean, everybody, okay? And yes, for autistic people, too. I mean, it's huge. And how do you get by to do that? Well, in most places, there are little sanghas, which are little groups of people who practice together. But then, on the other hand, for many autistic people, for me, I kind of like to do it alone. I mean, I don't necessarily have the money to go with those groups. Sometimes can be very expensive. Also, the more people there are, the more sensory problems there will be, even though it's in silence, thank God. Otherwise, I could never do this. The silence saved me. I mean, to be able to do this with others. As I'm getting better, I can do it more and more with others. I don't want to say that others are not necessary, because they are. However, if you don't have you cannot go very well. You know, I have big problems with transportation and things like that. And then the money and, and all that. Just simply find a place in your home that's uncluttered and sit down and be still and quiet. And that's it. Just breathe.
And It's such an inspirational thing to hear about. We talk about being mindful on the show every Thursday. We have a mindful moment for our parents and for our kiddos who are on the spectrum. So exciting to hear how much that helps you, Anlor. We've only got about a minute and a half left. I wondered if you could just tell us, now you've got a diagnosis that came quite late, and how that's changed your life and what you're doing now.
Well, yes, now my life has changed is that I can go out. So I have a partner I've been living with for the past 6 years, and he's also a self-activist with autism. He has another autism group called ASCEND, AASCEND.org. Actually, he's only the co-president, but that's kind of like his. And then there's my son for 1 minute. And there's my son with whom, now that I'm better, I may be able to play some tennis.
Yay! What a wonderful thing. And we know how important that is, to be able to be in bond with your child. Anlor, we have so enjoyed talking with you.
So
You're
we could
such a
do
wonderful
another
spirit.
hour with you. You're
Absolutely.
fascinating woman.
Thank you.
And like I said, courage. You have overcome so many obstacles. And everybody should read the book, Being Seen. It's
You
not.
can get it on Amazon.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
can get it
it's
at
such a-
AnlorDavin.com.
Such a wonderful memoir, and thank you so much for the pleasure of having you, Shannon, and myself.
And we'll end with saying au revoir.
Au revoir.
All right.
Thank you so much. And I want to say to bye-bye. I want to say to everybody watching, we're out of time. Give your kiddos a hug from me.
And yourselves a hug from me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now.